Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are still biding our time here. And that's going to be important. We will be done with that fairly soon though. I do believe that. We're going to be starting up proper tank production here very, very soon. We're going to finish up our basic medium tank chassis in 20 days. And we're also working on getting our infantry maxed out. Now this is a bunch of nonsense going on up over here. No doubt about that. And just general nonsense going on everywhere. Yeah, just general nonsense. Everywhere in the world. Okay, well that's fine. We're not too concerned about the world's nonsense. We are only concerned about the Southwest Pacific. And, of course, the world's best known Southwest Pacific nation, Poland. Naturally. Okay, so we were working on maxing out our infantry efficiency up over this direction. The question is, do we want to continue doing that? And I think the answer is yes, for the time being. We do want to work on our support companies. We do want to work on our motorized. But for the moment, are these considered trucks? No, this is mechanized infantry. This is not motorized. This is all we need for motorized, I believe. Not 100% on that, but I believe that's the case. So we're going to go for the anti-tank rifles to make our infantry better at hard attack. And armor piercing. That'll be great. And we're going to have the basic medium tank chassis done here in 14 days. 13 days. Cool. So that's ticking down, and we're going to finish up Death from Down Under pretty soon. That'll give us some air bases and some anti-air. That'll be done in 20 days. Cool. So we are prepping. There's no doubt about that. But what for? Well, the answer is we are prepping to liberate the world. I don't know that we're going to do that. No, probably not. For now, we're going to do this. I mean, if we get the opportunity, if we, get that ball rolling, we might well liberate the world. But that's a bit of a long shot with our manpower being what it is. So, that's for sure. We're going to get a region-wide industrial integration done. Beautiful. And we're now going to construct... I'm thinking about doing a dockyard, but right now really isn't the time to build a dockyard. So I think we're going to go for simply a military factory here. We'll build that down in Tasmania, and we will get that moved on up. Of course, all these coastal forts they're very low priority. We're not going to get them finished up anytime soon, and that's fine. We don't need to. We're not worried about that. I just want to have something there so that we don't waste construction time. Don't want to have idle civilian factories, if we can at all help it. So that's the plan there. Death from Down Under will be done in 10 days, 9 days now. And 1 day on basic medium tank chassis. Now, obviously, we continue to beeline for the modern tank chassis. So we're going to grab the 1940 medium. And that's going to be done in 136 days. Cool. Our anti-tank rifles are going to be done in 85 and advanced oil processing in 73. I think I'm going to stop after we're done with this one. I think I'm going to stop for a bit working on our fuel gain. I mean, our max consumption is way, way higher than what we're producing, right? There's no doubt about that. And we'd be able to store about 60, 40 days of max consumption. That's not very much. We did finish Death from Down Under, and we are then going to go ahead and grab the Auxiliary Air Force, I think, because that gets us access to this airbase. Yes. We'll go ahead and get that done, and we did get an infantry division done here. Now we're going to be short on manpower. And that's just going to be our life for the next ever. That's how this is going to work. Both of these are full on manpower for the moment, so that's good. That's very, very good indeed. And we are going to, by the way, toss that fancy new factory that we're making into also making light tanks. We want to get as many of those built as possible, and any new factories for the time being are going to be going into tanks. We are eventually going to be changing our tanks, of course. Our current tanks are mediocre at best. We may want to consider getting ourselves, some war propaganda against German Empire. And we'll go ahead and do that to bump up our war support a little bit. That'll be fine. Cool. The next question, of course, is when can we get another region-wide industrial integration? The answer is not for a while, and we do have doctrines available. That's understood. We're banking our experience for the time being. Okay. So after we're done with this oil processing, I think that we should probably start working on either our navy or our air. One or the other. Yeah, most likely. So, I'd definitely like to work down into, like, Fighter 3s. Just wondering what the statistical differences between these are. This one doesn't even have reliability? Okay. Well, I'll compare those stats a little later on. We're nowhere near getting that done yet. Cool. So when are we going to finish up our auxiliary Australian Air Force here? Soon. A treaty of perpetual friendship in the Balkans. Maybe they get some stability. I doubt it, if I'm honest. We are going to want the airborne defense soon enough. In fact, very soon. In fact, we should have done that before the Auxiliary Australian Air Force, but I guess that's okay. I guess. We have 5 free manpower right now. And that's not shocking. Not shocking at all. Are any of these guys taking attrition? No. Actually, hang on. Why did we go down there? We knew that we were at maximum manpower for both of these. That's interesting. I'm not sure why our manpower dropped there. But regardless, it's to be expected. We were always going to hit this point of manpower eventually. So that's fine. Our war propaganda is ongoing. And this war up here. This is the interesting one to me. This is where most of the action is for the moment, and this is also the most relevant war to us. Now, what do we want to have happen here? Honestly, we want the mutual assistance bloc to win. But I'm not sure that we managed to succeed in having that happen. We'll see. But that would be the preferred situation, that the mutual assistance bloc wins this. It's going to be very interesting. Well, we're going to continue our research here, and we're going to be done with that medium tank chassis in 68 days. So that's good. Advanced oil processing in 5. And I think for the time being, because we don't have any... Oh, we are short on steel. Okay. I don't want to grab some from Argentina right now. We're going to grab some from the US. There we go. Now we've got some more steel coming in. Okay, so I think that for the time being, we're going to not research any more synthetic oil for the moment. We're doing okay on that. It's not good, but it's okay. For the time being, I think we're going to come over here and research improved infantry equipment because we don't have any air bonuses right now for air research. We could do naval research. For that to happen, we need to decide what our carrier group ends up looking like. And there's that Air Force done. Fantastic. We're going to take airborne defense. So let's think a bit about what we want our carrier groups to end up looking like. So let's go into our research here, into naval. So we have basically nothing here. Here's what I'm thinking. A carrier group would consist of like 2 carriers, maybe like 2 carriers, 4 battleships, 8 cruisers, 16 destroyers, and 32 submarines, or something along those lines. It would be a lot. It would be a whole lot. But that would be the overall concept. Maybe not those exact proportions. That's just doubling, so maybe not exactly that. Maybe like increasing by 1. So like that would be something like 2 carriers, 3 battleships, 4 cruisers, 5 destroyers, and 6 submarines. That might be a little more reasonable. Okay. So that's the overall concept there, I think. And that does mean that we're going to have a lot of research to do to get that done. There's that anti-tank rifle done. We'll continue to upgrade our heart attack and piercing. There we go. And those will finish up in about 100 days each. So that's absolutely great. Airborne defense will be done in about 58 days. And actually, the mutual assistance block is doing well here. And Japan is getting this under control over here. It's not going quickly for them, but they are getting it done. Pakistan capitulated to India. That's not shocking. That was fairly expected, to be honest. Okay, so that's all good. Improved medium tank chassis will be done in 38 days. Of course, we're going to continue down to the 1943 medium from there. And then we're going to grab the modern tank chassis after that. That's the plan for this research slot. Once we're done with that, then our armor is complete. We could focus on support companies at that point. That's definitely a thing we could do. I wouldn't mind signal companies as well. But I think logistics companies are probably a bit better for us, is my guess. But I don't know that for a fact. Let's actually look at this for a moment. So, we can't actually do that. We don't have either researched. Fair enough. Fair enough. We have built up a little bit of manpower here. That's great. And we're going to have these deploying shortly. Now, we're not going to have the manpower to get those next training battalions going, but that's understood. That is fully, completely understood. I would very much like to run a region-wide industrial integration. There we go. And what are we going to build with that? By the way, one thing I would really, really like to see in Hearts of Iron is something that other Paradox games have for countries like ours, which is like a recruitment office that allows us to increase our manpower in a particular location. That would be really, really nice. Like, allows us to increase our recruitable manpower, like, in this state by, like, 1% or something. That would be ridiculous. That's maybe too much. But something along those lines would be really nice to see. But instead, we're just going to put in a military factory up here, and that will, of course, be a top priority. There we go. Cool. I believe you can just do a shortcut, like Control-Shift to put it at the top. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. 19 days on the improved medium tank chassis. We are almost done with our tank research. 2 to go. 2 to go. 17 days left on that. And our intelligence agency is just chilling. We can go ahead and become the spy master, but we need upgrades for that. And we might want to consider actually working on some of that. This is just like raw intelligence. Done. We're going to start getting those going. So we're going to work on our intelligence agency upgrades as well now. 10 more days on improved medium tank chassis. Cool. That's not bad at all. And we're going to want to replace the Vickers too soon enough. Our production efficiency on our various weaponry is increasing nicely. So this is all going reasonably well. Our production efficiency is pretty solid currently. Of course, when we swap over our tanks, that's going to take a nosedive, but it is what it is. Okay, 4 days on that improved medium tank chassis. Let's take a look over at China here. A Soviet-German trade agreement is interesting. I think they're technically at war. We did finish up our infantry division here, and we'll sort them in. And of course, we have no manpower. That's to be expected. So this front is now going to meet. Interesting. China's definitely losing this, and we did get that improved medium tank chassis. So we're going to grab the advanced medium tank chassis. 136 days on that one too. So we'll cruise through that, and then we're going to be able to, of course, grab the modern tank chassis, which is exactly what we want. We want to enable that modern tank. Cool. And we also have our armored division ready to be sorted in. There we go. So China is definitely collapsing here. But I still say that the one that we want to win this is the mutual assistance block, and that's looking pretty good thus far. Is Japan pushing them back? I'm not sure. Our agency was just upgraded, and we're going to continue to work on that. We'll grab the Army Department next. And there's our airborne defense done, too. Cool. So from here, we can definitely grab Dominate the Skies for 2 additional air bases, as well as getting a cheaper air doctrine. Fantastic. Okay, so China's collapsing over here. That's expected. What I'm really interested in... Okay, the mutual assistance block is pushing into Japan. Japan is still struggling up here. So this is really, really good. I'm very happy about this. That is going very well for us indeed. We're 23 days away from improved infantry equipment 3. And that's going to be a big gain for us. Our infantry is a big part of what we've got. We still want to grab Night Vision 1 into Night Vision 2. That's still going to be important, but we are not going to be able to dedicate 2 research slots to it, obviously. So I think we should start working on our support companies soon enough. 16 days? Okay. We'll definitely begin to work on our support companies. So coming down over here and looking at what we have right now in our infantry divisions. We have engineers, we have armored recon, we have field hospital, and support artillery. Okay. In our armored divisions, we have support artillery, armored recon, engineer, and nothing else. We want to get mechanic here, and we also probably want to get logistics or radio companies. I think for the time being, we should start with radio companies and only go to logistics if we have a significant logistical issue, is what I'm thinking for the moment. There's our army department finishing up, and we are going to grab the naval department next. Beautiful. 4 days, 3 days until improved infantry equipment 3 is done. So I think we're going to grab the signal company next. Okay, there's improved infantry equipment 3. Beautiful. So we're going to hop over to support companies, and we're going to grab this signal company. There we go. Fantastic. What's Japan's manpower looking like? Do we know? Do we have intel on that? They have a lot. Okay, 2 to 4 million. That's definitely a lot of manpower. Compared to us, anyway. Amazing. Okay, well that's absolutely fine. How are we doing on our recruitment here in terms of manpower? I know that we don't have enough manpower to train. I'm just wondering how much is actually in there right now. Okay, good to know. So that's absolutely fine. I'd like to build... Oh, we can build a military factory up here. I didn't even realize that. And I'm going to actually pull that out of there. And Control-Shift to put it on top. Perfect. Okay, we'll get that in. And that finishes up. Fantastic. That's our heart attack. And we're going to grab Night Vision 1 now to continue to max out our infantry. So that'll be perfect. Of course, we're going to need to focus on our navy pretty soon here. But for the time being, I want to get our armor good to go. And then I want to get our armor and our infantry. Because we're going to be primarily focused on defense if we get pulled into a war. And if we're going to go on the offensive, then we know what we're going to be waiting for. So it'll be a while before we go on the offensive, but I want to be able to defend ourselves effectively. Okay. We'll grab the Air Force Department, and now we'll become the Spy Master as well. So that's fantastic. This is now all part of China, which is still part of the mutual existence bloc, but this is still part of the Central Powers, which means that China and China are two different Chinas. Okay. That's Long Yun, and that is Li Zongren. Yes. So China and China are two different Chinas, do not be fooled, and they are at war with each other. And Japan. They're also at war with Japan. They're both at war with Japan. Awkwardness is ensuing over here. Cool. 69 days until the advanced medium tank chassis is done. I think the only thing to say about that is nice. I was actually going to say that anyway, and then I registered that it was 69 days, and I was like, well, this is my life now. So this is all looking reasonably well. We're not seeing any major issues here. China has capitulated to China. Okay. Which is really good for us. That means the mutual assistance bloc now has control over all of this and is going to start pushing Japan up this way. That's solid. Wait, which China was that? Was that China or China? I want the controller, who's China, who has the same flag as China, which is exciting. Okay, so they're not aligned. Good to know. Okay, we're going to proceed here for a bit. We're going to finish up our military factory in Bismarck. And our advanced medium tank chassis is still 60 days out. I was hoping that we would be wrapping up research on the modern tank chassis by the end of this episode. I don't think that's quite going to be a thing, but we will definitely get our tanks done by next episode's end, for sure. We'll definitely have that good to go. There's no doubt about that one in my mind. So we will continue to proceed here in the night vision and signal company, and dominate the skies will be done here in a moment. There we go. Beautiful. And next up, we can grab basically anything that we've skipped. We can just clean this up from here on out. Classify aliens, probably? Probably. That wouldn't be a terrible thing. Marine and airborne technology recon companies. We're going to grab M Special Unit there to upgrade our recon companies, I think. What are the recon company upgrades here? Is that just... That's mobile infantry. Let's see. Support companies. The Colombian Socialist Republic capitulated. Good for them. Yeah, this is the field hospital here. Logistics, maintenance, military police. This is the recon company. Okay, there we go. Air Force Department finishes up, and we will, of course, start working on our passive defense. That's absolutely great. So we'll do that. Our advanced medium tank chassis is going to be done in 47 days. So that's awesome. Remember, we cap out our experience at 500, so this is fine to continue banking for the moment. The real question is, do we think China is going to end up beating Japan? They're also fighting the Soviets and pushing into Soviet territory over here. Or getting pushed? One or the other. We do get to get a recruit here, though, and that's great. Infiltration effectiveness. I think Christina here is the way to go. Cool. Okay. So with that all underway, that is absolutely fine. It is now time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are definitely going to get our top level tanks ready to go. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, Sigma162, JJ Gamer, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Kadra, Raw Potato, Elmichi Nazi, Justin Everett, Emiliano Cambron, Martin Lawrence, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.